I'm Morgan, and my research project is looking at Generation Z and their application of technology and how that compares to previous generations. So just to start off, Global Web Index did a study on the daily time spent online by Gen Z and found that, first of all, personal ownership of smartphones is virtually universal, of about 96% of teens having smartphones. And second of all, that 3 hours and 38 minutes of average time was spent online on these devices, which is almost 50 minutes longer than the average internet user. So it may seem like a bad thing that kids are spending all this time on their devices, and in some aspects it is, but the purpose of my presentation is to share with my listeners that the importance of the role of technology in Generation Z's lives. So Generation Z was born into this digital era where technology is constantly advancing and is always at their disposal. So can we really blame them for the amount of time that they spend on the internet? Because the addiction to technology is just due to them growing up in this digital environment, and they're using all of these resources that are available to them to, and using every opportunity that they have. So past generations have viewed their digital presence as simply a component of their lives. In contrast, Gen Z views their online presence as part of their identity. So it's what they grew up with and what they're comfortable with, which can be confusing to older generations because they haven't had the same experience when they were growing up. And I'm going to be exploring this idea in my presentation through discussing the technological advances and how Generation Z love for social media has increased. So my research question is focusing mostly on how technology has been advancing and how this shifts Generation Z's approach towards their future and how this compares to previous generations. So my first perspective is Gen Z and the advancement of technology. So yes, a lot of kids these days use their devices for entertainment or for fun, but many Gen Zers see the opportunities that technology gives them and they take advantage of it. Not all internet usage is pointless browsing. Many Gen Zers want to do something with the advantages that technology gives them in their life. So this generation invites the opportunities and that technology brings to them and recognizes the openings to influence the world through social media and their access to technology. They want to show that they are maturing at younger ages, and they want to explore how they can contribute to society through their comfort with technology. So my second perspective is Gen Z's love for social media. So the point of their social media usage is not to just share content with the whole world for entertainment, but their love for generating it is more about exploring how they can influence the people and their own futures. So Generation Z strives to use all of their opportunities that are available to them by technology, that technology brings them, and we are still currently exploring the ways in which they can do this. So by watching all of these influences on YouTube or Instagram, kids are learning useful skills from the actual videos that they're watching, and it's them expressing their creative culture and their new sense of entrepreneurship. And social media platforms serve as an outlet for Gen Z to spread their beliefs and messages to the whole world. So my third perspective that I looked at was Gen Z's interest in specifically YouTube and gaming. So Generation Z considers influencers on YouTube and Instagram to be a career, and in fact 41% of Gen Zers plan on becoming entrepreneurs, and up to 60% see being a YouTube influencer as a viable career path. Technology is introducing all types of new jobs to accommodate the creativity of Generation Z, and kids are learning how to survive in the real world based on what they learn on the digital world. Again, the idea of entrepreneurship. So to Gen Z, gaming, similarly to YouTube, puts necessary life skills in their back pockets. So they have more of a desire to make a difference, appreciate the value of teams, and welcome global collaboration. With 97% of American youth playing video games and computer games, so gaming has helped how Generation Z interacts with the world, and just as social media has shaped how they interact with their communities. So it gives them more self-confidence and pride in their accomplishments on the digital world, and allows them to interact with other people on the internet from all around the world. So what kids can accomplish in the digital world can be equal to what they can achieve in the real world, if only they can convince themselves that they are capable of success outside of the digital world as well. So my sort of solution to the whole idea is that they are overusing technology, I think, and I think older generations are seeing this and kind of judging them based on just first glance, but I think older generations need to try to accept that Gen Z has grown up in this digital world, and their attitude and approach towards life will be different than what previous generations look at their future as. And it is based off the accessibility of technology to them, which previous generations were not gifted with. And I think also that kids need to be making more responsible and healthy choices in terms of their screen time usage. And because they're young, I think some of this responsibility falls on the parents as well to tell them that they can't be on the screen as much as they are.
Morgan, how did your research question evolve as you moved through the research process?
When I first started out, I was looking mostly at how, I was still focusing on Generation Z and how it compares to the previous generations, because I was more looking at how they have kind of redefined success, the meaning of success, and I wanted to focus mostly on the YouTube careers, because I see I personally watch YouTube videos, and I see a lot of influencers who are making a career out of this, out of making YouTube videos, and I thought it was really interesting, but I couldn't find enough research on that on specifically the YouTube, so I decided to make that a separate perspective and kind of do a bigger idea for that.
And if you had more time, what additional research would you conduct on this issue?
I think I'd want to look more at, because I specifically looked at Generation Z and I didn't really provide a lot of evidence and about the other generations, and I think it'd be interesting if I could find more research on the other generations and how then it would be easier to actually compare the actions of the previous generations to Generation Z, and I think it'd be beneficial to my whole research question.
Thank you.